Hello, we are live again for our last Real Estate Live at Lunch this week. I am Lindsey Svir with Rubicon Mortgage Advisors, and today we're talking with Kyle, the one and only.
Kyle Olson with Keller Williams, and thank you guys for joining us today at Real Estate Live at Lunch. We've been on here for 4 days this week. We've had a great following of some people watching us on. Been talking about lending we started with on Monday here with Lindsey. Kind of getting that pre-approval on there. We talked to Bobby Bauer about the inspections and kind of what things we want to know about there and Bauer inspections. It was a great one. Check that video out. It's on our Facebook page if you missed it. We also had DJ Coulter here yesterday. He did a fantastic job. I'm off the screen here again. I like to hide off the screen evidently in these videos. But yeah, we had DJ Coulter here yesterday from American Family. He did a fantastic job telling us what we needed to insure, how we needed to insure things. And today we're going to talk a bit about the home buying process and how that works. So we're just going to kind of go through that a little bit. We're excited for people to be joining us here today. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, and Kyle has offered, I believe, once again, if he does get stumped, that he will buy someone ice cream, right?
On a real estate related question, yes.
Yes, to clarify, it has to be a real estate related question.
Yeah, we had Maggie ask us one time what her middle name was. That's kind of a tough one.
Yeah.
I believe it is JoJo, though.
JoJo?
Check it out and ask her if that's the right one.
Perfect.
I'm pretty sure that's not right.
Well, hey, let's first get into, I guess, the number one question that I hear people ask on the lending side is, why should I hire a real estate agent? Why can I not list my home or buy a home by myself and save some money potentially?
That's a great question. We hear it quite often, actually. You know, a lot of people go out there and think that all we do is, put a sign in the yard and that's it. It comes down to quite a bit more to that. I mean, I'm a full-time agent. I spend tons of time going through the contracts that you have, making sure that everything is in the right place, helping to negotiate, knowing what's going on in the market, knowing how fast houses are selling, how slow they're selling, what we need to do in order to make your house sell, make sure it's the right fit for the market and where we're at price-wise as well. And we're always reevaluating that. And it's not me saying what the price is, it's what the market is saying what the price is. Right. And so we're looking to make sure that we're right in line and reevaluating on an everyday basis with what you want to do as well. I don't call you every day, but, I'm watching it every day for you to make sure that the market is hitting exactly where we want to be. The other thing is having somebody to come to bat for you when there's a problem with the house, when there's an inspection issue or an appraisal issue. If you're selling it by yourself and you get to that spot and you go, hey, well, we need to renegotiate this, or we're not closing on time, or what's this issue? Well, if you don't have somebody in your corner, you're going to try and search and find somebody who's going to be able to look out for your best interest, and we can't do that. It's not ethical for us to do that if we're not in a contract with you, to be there and help support you and give you those fiduciary duties to you. I always say that I want to be out there. If it was my mom buying a house, I want to be out there, providing that same service to all my customers, making sure that they're being taken care of.
Right.
As well as I would want my mom or my parents or sister or whatever to be taken care of.
Yeah, exactly. And on the lending side of it, from my own experience, as far as like for sale by owners go, those tend to be the rockiest transactions because of that reason, that they don't have somebody representing them. So if, say, a low appraisal comes in and there has to be renegotiation, or something comes up with an inspection, an attorney may be able to write the actual legal documents of that sale, but there's nobody there to help with that renegotiation. And between you and me, I guess I prefer to have representation of my own. I don't necessarily want to go to a seller and say, hey, Mr. Seller, I think you should lower your price. They might not be so kind to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing to bring up as well with attorneys, once that contract is written, guess what? You owe them the money for that.
Right.
For a realtor, we work on a commission-based system. So if for whatever reason that house doesn't close, that house doesn't sell, hey, that's our job.
Right.
If it doesn't sell, we don't get paid. If we don't help find you a house, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
So we have contracts to work together to make sure that we're working together. But if whatever reason it's not working out, that's where we're able to talk about that, and we're not making you feel like you're stuck into some sort of legal contract with somebody, or having to rehire them again for the next house, or whatever that question might be.
Yeah. So if I'm a buyer, what types of things do you do for being a buyer's agent, and how does that process work? Is it an expense to me? What does it look like if I'm looking to buy a home and I want to hire you as my agent?
Absolutely. The cool thing about the buyer's market is that we have the whole system is set up to help the buyer. Typically, the buyer doesn't have as much equity or so forth, so typically the seller pays for the commission for that buyer's agent to represent you. And so it's free to you to come in to be a representation, to help you find that right perfect house. I offer free consultations to anybody to see if they want to buy a house, if they can afford to buy a house. We'll bring them into Lindsey or another lender, and we'll make sure that that works best for you guys. But truly, it's buying a house is the best way, because you're not having to negotiate what that commission is. Unless we come up with some weird things like you want to buy it for sale by owner, in which case we'll talk a little bit more about that in our buyer's consultation and how that works. The best thing is, find a realtor that you like and work with them, because it's more of a personal relationship than it is anything other than, the business part is you need to still make sure that you have somebody that you click with and that you want to work with on a regular basis, because we're out there, when we're buying a house, we're out there probably every weekend. Whatever your time allows, to try and find that house and not lose the market or not lose what your goals are.
So if I'm coming in, what is a buyer's consult? What does that look like?
A buyer's consult, I typically spend about 30 minutes. We'll sit down and we'll go through kind of what it is that you're looking for in your house. How can that house fit your lifestyle? What things do you need in that kitchen? What styles do you like? What kind of area and neighborhood do you want to live in? The Fargo-Moorhead area has so many different neighborhoods, and they're set up in lots of different ways. Some of them are more set up for privacy and hiding in the backyard and having more of a family time there. Some of them are more community-based, where there are more people out on the front porch. And so we're kind of talking about those communities, and we're talking about what is it that's going to be best for you. A lot of people like to live close to their work. I think the statistic is within like 5 miles of your job. Most people live there. And so we're going to look in that area, but we're going to find what the best community is, what your price range is, what things you have to have, what things you want to have, and what things your spouse might want to have and what they might have to have. And sometimes so I'm almost counseling between the two and saying, hey, well, do you want to be able to sleep on the couch, or do you want to sleep in the master bedroom and make this all work out?
Yeah, no. My husband and I know personally would have very differing opinions on a lot of that. So I can see where the mediator aspect comes to play a lot of times.
And that's all right. That's part of the process of finding the house, We'll look into, the other big thing we're going to look at is what types of things you want and those needs. And we're going to try and hit at least 50 to 75% of them. Now, everybody thinks, oh, this house is going to be perfect, and I want to hit 100%. I can't find that house with 100%. Well, the statistics is that most people won't find that house with 100%. They'll find something that's 70 to 80 to 90%, somewhere in there, of the needs that they want, and then they'll be able to maybe tweak that house. Maybe some people might want to look into new construction at that point in time, which is available as well. Then you're looking at maybe a different neighborhood and what that neighborhood looks like. So we're always looking at what those options are. Can we find it pre-existing? Sometimes they're a little bit cheaper. We don't have to deal with the specials of that brought in the streets and the roads and all those things around the house. But it just kind of depends on what you're telling me that you want to find in a house. And that's my biggest thing, is I want to listen to you, and I want to answer those questions based on what your needs and your desires are, so we can meet that goal.
So you kind of mentioned new construction. If I'm working with a builder to build my home, and especially if they're a little bigger builder, do I still hire an agent then to represent me as the buyer, or can the builder just help me out with that? I
would strongly urge you to hire a buyer's agent to help you in that. That builder is looking out for themselves, and that agent is looking out for their builder. And that's where, they're a very reputable business, and I trust a lot of them to be on that other side of the table with me. But at the same time, I want somebody in my helping me who is who knows what's going on in the market, knows, okay, wow, that's way out of line in the price, or why isn't this house closing? What are we doing to get get done, and what legal ramifications can we have if something doesn't come to the right to where it's supposed to be.
Right, right. Yeah, and I do know that a lot of builders in town don't necessarily increase purchase price because you have an agent. So that's not always the case too, as far as the purchase price and saving money as a buyer. I think it's always good to have.
And can you talk a little bit about the appraisal process on that? Because if they don't have a buyer's agent, they still have to appraise the value at the right price, right?
Right, and that's, so if somebody comes to us and they're purchasing a home and they don't have a buyer's agent, and something does come up with the appraisal, at the end of the day, you cannot buy a house for more than what it appraises at. So if it's a for sale by owner and it comes in low, that's great for you as the buyer, but as the seller, that's potentially an issue, because, or not an issue, but it's untapped equity that you could have had you had representation on the selling side, to know exactly what you should list your home for and getting the most bang for your buck on that end.
Absolutely, and having that agent there to help you as well. If that appraisal comes in low, maybe we can find that they missed something, or maybe there's some other ways that we can help with that appraisal.
Yep. We've had real estate agents find more comparables. Maybe there's comparables that haven't hit the appraiser's pipeline as far as homes that are, that have been sold recently, but the agent might be able to say, hey, XYZ home sold down the street 2 days ago. You can now use this one as a comparable sale. Whereas if you don't have an agent, that's not information that you'd necessarily be privy to.
Absolutely.
So on the listing side, why should I hire an agent?
Well, we got that same stuff out there. Before we get into listings, I want to, remind everybody out there, if you can stump me with a real estate related question, win some free ice cream. So, bring those questions in. I'd love to have them. Again, this is Kyle Olson with Keller Williams Inspire Realty and Lindsey Svir with Rubicon Mortgage. So about the listings, again, you want that realtor there to help protect you. And, if that appraisal comes in low, being able to support and say, well, that's really what the appraised value is, and that's what we need. We need to help bring that value up, and how can we do that? And so, you're out there trying to make sure that our appraisals, our comps are fitting that appraisal, so that we can try and help bring it up.
Yeah.
They're also there to help support you when there's a negotiation on something that comes out of the home inspection. Those home inspectors, as we talked to Bobby on Tuesday about, they're hopefully going to only bring you the big things, the roof, the mechanicals, those types of things that need to be fixed. And at that point, we can help you with finding quotes to get that stuff done, referring you to some of our great partners that are out there that are able to get that stuff done in a fast manner, or helping to negotiate that for your best interest for you.
Yeah. For sure.
That's one of the major things as well when you're listing, as well as marketing. I mean, I bring in a drone photographer. We do videos, walkthroughs, open house walkthroughs. I do live Facebook walkthroughs for my open houses on Sundays, or sometimes otherwise during the week as well, depending on how the week is going. And if it's a good lake weekend, maybe we'll try and do an open house in the middle of the week.
Yeah, for sure. And how about as far as just the network of agents? Do you find that a lot of times if you have a listing, just being able to tap into the Keller agents right away, first and foremost, sometimes before it hits the market?
Just this morning, actually, I had a listing come up that'll be coming up on Monday. If you want to reach out, let me know. But there's one hitting the market in Moorhead. And we've got 150 agents here in the office. Approximately there. I don't know what the exact count is today. It does fluctuate a little bit, but when you got 150 agents, you've got people out there looking for those listings. You have people communicating about things that aren't quite on the market yet, because we want to be able to help our agents out and help our clients get to those properties fast and be able to reach out there. We are actually on the cusp of becoming #1 in the Fargo-Moorhead area here. So, that information is coming out soon. And, it's great to have Keller Williams in a back pocket, because when we got the 150 agents, if you've got something that's not working, or if you've got something you don't quite know the answer, guaranteed somebody in the office has done it and has worked through it and is able to help us out. And so that's a huge portion to go with Keller Williams as to why we're able to continue on. We're definitely the largest. What did Jeff say? The largest in North Dakota?
Yes.
By agent count.
I believe that was what you said at the last meeting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. KW's definitely going places.
It's the new KW, hashtag new KW, right?
Hey, we have Brandon Erickson here. Hey, Brandon. He asked a question. Do realtors use Zillow.com, or is that just a site for common folk?
Well, you know, I do use Zillow.com occasionally. I will make sure that all of my ads, all my listings are out on Zillow properly, making sure that everything's posting up there, making sure the video links are working, making sure that all the pictures are showing up properly. We'll use it to see what the Zestimate is, even though the Zestimate is oftentimes out of whack in our area, because one of the main things in Zestimates in the Fargo-Moorhead area is that we changed how we calculate our total square footage from below ground square footage. And so a lot of those Zillow estimates in the area are usually off. And so we need to also know what it is, so we know what people are going to be coming in and saying, oh, well, I think it's 100,000 less. Well, here's the market analysis that truly shows what the market is. But yeah, absolutely, those common folk are out there using it, and we need to make sure that, you know, Zillow has the appropriate information and that the listings are updated there on a constant basis. Otherwise, I mean, they're the big juggernaut in the room, and they, you know, they don't always check the details and make sure everything is correct. You know, I've had a lot of people who will call me from a Zillow listing and go, well, I'd like to see this one. Well, unfortunately, that listing is sold, and so it's, you know, it's there, but we want to make sure that we're being more accurate with our MLS, our multiple listing services.
Yeah, for sure. And
thank you for the question, Brandon.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks, Brandon. Let us know if you guys have any other questions. We were trying to stump Kyle here to see if he can get you some free ice cream with the real estate questions. So bring them on. How about just the market in general? What's the word on the street right now with listings and everything like that? Right
now, we're switching a little bit into a buyer's market. We are seeing listings going up higher than what they were in the last year. Right now, currently on the market, we have 1,604 listings.
Wow.
That's a lot. Usually we're around about 1,400, so we're up a little bit. We've got 1,154 in the single family listings currently.
Okay.
With 132 of them new in this last week. You know, a lot of people think that the market, you know, starts in the spring and then everybody lists and everybody buys it throughout the year. Well, that's not the case. We constantly get new inventory every week. We're constantly out there. You know, the person who bought the house in the spring now has a house to sell, or the person who's looking to sell their house so they can buy one as school starts up, whatever the case, whatever you're relocating. The market's constantly going. It's not as seasonal as some people might think there.
Wow, that's amazing.
We also, in this last week, we had 89 houses sell or go pending. So, you know, it's just continually moving. In those 130 houses, 89 of them are maybe sold already.
Yeah.
So, and price changes are coming as well. 132 of those as well this week. So, you know, we're seeing a little bit of change in the market. Some of those listings definitely are higher. We have a number of them. So if you're looking to upgrade, I mean, it's the best time because those listings a lot of them are in the higher end of the market. So if you're in a lower end house and you want to upgrade, now is a great time because those lower end houses are selling fast still, and we're able to get up there.
No, for sure. Well, and I think too that if you're in that starter home price point right now, say you own a home that maybe would sell for around 200 or somewhere in that ballpark, odds are you're going to sell it pretty quickly. Because I know personally, I have a pipeline of some pre-approved buyers that are in that $200,000 price range or less that are just waiting for a house to come on the market.
Exactly. And those interest rates are still low. If you're looking to buy a higher end price house, you're able to afford a little bit better out there right now too. So
yeah, the market's been a little volatile as far as interest rates go, but they're definitely not as high as we thought they were going to be with the new presidency and everything going on. It's been volatile. So there's pockets of awesome, and then the rest of the time it's pretty good. So
as long as it's not bad, I'll take awesome and good. We're seeing an average right now of days on market about 56 days on market, down just from last month, down from 71 days. So those houses they're picking up, they're selling.
Move. Wow.
And with an average list price of $274,900, and usually getting about 98% of that list price. So you know, if you're out there listing and you've got it priced appropriately, that's what the average is, and that's most of those sales are coming from realtors. So if you're looking to list it yourself, you know, make sure that realtor is out there helping you to negotiate and get you that 98% of what your current value is.
How about if I'm just thinking about listing my home, then what can you do to help me get an idea of what I would list it for? And maybe is now the right time to sell?
Yeah, I offer free consultations. I'll come out, do a comparative market analysis of of what's going on with your house. We're going to take a look at what's recently sold, what's currently on the market. You know, it's no obligation. We're just going to sit down for about 20 minutes. I'm not going to bring a number to you as to what I think that house is worth. I'm going to bring a number to you of what the market is showing. And so once we sit down and we go, okay, well, you've made these improvements maybe help. Some of them just help sell the house faster. They don't always add value, but you know, they are there to help sell it faster. You know, and so we'll look at what, but just really the best marketing for your house, and if you're in the right time and what your goals are, because ultimately it comes down to why do you want to sell, and do you have to sell? Do you want to sell? Do you want to upgrade, downgrade? What are those things that you're looking to do?
So what are some things that I can do if I'm thinking about listing my home to get the most bang for my buck as far as clean?
I have to tell you, the one thing is, you know, making sure that house is spick and span is going to really make those photos come out great. I bring a professional photographer, and you know, we try our best to get them the best. But if you got them decluttered and you've got them cleaned up, we'll help you move the furniture around a little bit, make that picture look the best we can, and get it staged the best for you. But you know, the biggest thing is if the house is clean and if any of the small maintenance things are taken care of. Those small maintenance things might cost you $20, $30 to take care of, but if the buyer sees that costs thousands in their mind of what it's going to cost to bring in a professional to do that job, and then they typically want to double or triple it based on, you know, negotiations. So if you're looking at a list, your best job is to take a look at your house. You know, have me come in and we'll look at it from the buyer's point of view and see how we can best analyze what things are going to be wanting to cut money off, and how we can best get you the most bang for your buck. Okay.
So with staging then, aside from cleaning, and I know you kind of mentioned decluttering, what about, like, are there like taste specific things? Are there certain trends that we should be aware of? That mean, you know, do we paint? Do we replace carpets? Or is that all individual? How do you
that comes into a little bit individual. I mean, it depends on what market you're in. If you're in the higher end market, we might need to look at what the carpeting is looking like, what the paint, if it's neutral enough that people are going to feel at home there, you know. We're going to look at if there's some big pieces of furniture, maybe we can rent some smaller pieces to fill in, or move some of those pieces out into a cube or a storage space, so we can get a little more space in there and make the house feel bigger for you. We can also bring in a staging consultant as well if we need to. So it's just the best way to find what works best for your house, and it's an individual thing that we do.
Very cool. That's awesome that you offer that for free.
Absolutely.
Pre-approvals are also free.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's very similar with both of our professions, that, you know, even if you're not, I think a lot of times people think I'm not ready, or I don't think I'm ready to buy or sell right now, so why should I talk to somebody? I think I'm speaking for both of us that we love to talk to people before they're necessarily ready, to make sure that we've got a game plan. So when you are ready, we're just raring to go. We're not then suddenly you're ready and we're not.
Absolutely. You know, one thing that people ask me is, why did I get into this? And that's, you know, one of the big things that I've been struggling with, and what I've found is I got into it to try and help people to meet those goals. And one thing that I'm working on to meet my goals, of course, I want to help you guys meet your goals. My goal is to help launch this with the American Association of Alzheimer's Association in Fargo. I'm actually donating 10% of all my proceeds for the year to the Alzheimer's Association in Fargo. And so I'm trying to help people with memory care and those issues that are out there. And that's part of the reason why I'm here, is to try and reach that out in whatever way I can to help you guys to help your house, but also ultimately to help the Alzheimer's Association of Fargo as well.
Wow, that's awesome.
Thank you.
That's a great thing to do. I love that. You're giving me the goosies here. No, that's
I caught you off guard on that one, didn't I?
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. We wanted to ebb and flow. Well, hey, if you guys have any other questions out there, please feel free to like, comment, share, post. We want everybody to know. We want this to be an interactive thing. Hopefully this is just the start. We want to keep it going, and we're going to kind of see if it'll take on a life of its own, and we're going to bring in lots of other professionals along the way to make sure that you guys all know kind of what's what and who's who, and
absolutely
what the latest is.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. If you have any other questions, we'll certainly take them via chat or via the comments, and we appreciate you joining us with Real Estate Live at Lunch. like Lindsey said, we'll be back here with some other great guests. I believe we have a drone operator might be coming in, showing us his drone, showing us how that works and how we use that in the listing presentation to present that house for people from a different angle. So feel free to reach out in any way we can help. We would love to.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend. Get some lake time in. It's a beautiful weather. And if you're looking at buying or selling, you know who to call. Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.